buti na lang talaga na mabait yung Diyos sa akin kasi binigyan niya ako ng isang coach tab. Laking tulong talaga ni Coach Tab, and people actually think na we had a really smooth relationship the moment he went to Ateneo, but it was actually the total opposite. Kami ni Coach Tab, nung first year niya, grabe yun. Nung first year niya sa Ateneo, hindi ko alam kung sino yung unang mag-quit ng team eh. Hindi ko alam kung siya ba yung mag-quit o ako eh. Kaya talagang grabe yung pinagdaanan namin ni Coach Tab, especially nung first year niya. Alam ko mamimiss niya ako kasi ako talaga yung favorite niyang pagalitan. Pero ako talaga yun. Ako yung whipping boy niya nun. Laging paboritong tirahin, lalo na pag may scouting reports. Every time na may film session kami, favorite niya na ako yung kino-call out niya. So, pretty sure mamimiss niya yun. Pero just like what I said, Coach Tab's contribution to my progress as a basketball player is immeasurable in all ways. So talagang laking bagay niya sa career ko, and I don't think I'll be here if it weren't for Coach Tab. So it also tells us that God's always at work. So just keep believing and just do your part. And yun nga, just like what I said, especially to the breakout room guys, that hard work will always put you in the right direction, on the right track, and it means working hard on your academics also, which will allow you to play, and working hard to find balance in working on basketball skills also. So talagang pagsipagan nyo lang sa lahat ng bagay. There's no shortcut to success. If you want to do something that's, if you want to achieve something that's never been achieved, you have to do things that's never been done.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gold Diggers, the show where we discuss stories of leadership and motivation with sports serving as a metaphor. And for the first time ever, we go live. That's right, we go live. I'm your host, Carlos Pineda, your resident box-to-box midfielder or point forward, transitioning from esports to football, and vice versa. In the previous episode, we went through nostalgia, expressing what we've learned from the previous month's episode, whether it's the comedic nature of Nate Berkey, Anton Del Rosario's drive, and the legal insights from attorney Mickey Ingles and attorney Rebo Sagisag. Each of these individuals brought their own flavor, making every discussion memorable. And I had a lot of fun with that episode, mainly because I had these three individuals who shared their own perspectives. Let's welcome all of them. Simone, Relly, and Robbie.
Thanks, Carlos. Hey, teammates, Simone here. Super stoked for tonight's episode. We've been looking forward to having a live episode so we could hear from you guys. So, teammates, wag kayong mahiyang mag-comment kung may mga tanong kayo para sa ating guest ngayong gabi. Di ba, Relly?
That's right, Sim. Hello, guys. Hello, fellow diggers. Happy to be here again, and happy that you guys are here to tune in. Like what Sim said, and Carlos, we have a great show tonight, and then of course we're live. We're live and ready to get going. So please stay tuned because we have a great guest tonight, and you wouldn't want to miss her.
Hi, teammates. So I'm very. This is Robbie. I'm very excited also and honored to be with you all today to have a conversation and be one of the co-hosts for a friend and a woman in action, the host herself, Gretchen Ho. So please stay tuned and don't forget to participate by typing in your questions in our Facebook feed. So Carlos?
It's a pleasure to have my fellow gold diggers in the show, together with everyone else watching. Shout out to every one of you. All right, Now let us proceed to the main event. Introducing our guest. She is a proud UAAP athlete who admitted that she enjoys attending classes with her flip-flops. A former UAAP volleyball player, a member of the Fab Five that helped the Ateneo de Manila University reach the finals in both seasons 74 and 75. A public figure drawn to the limelight and driven to inform the public of current events as an anchor for ABS-CBN and bringing smiles to everyone's faces in her hosting career. An advocate for human aid and development, spreading good vibes in the times of crisis through our website womeninaction.ph. Without further ado, let's welcome Miss Gretchen Hall.
Hi! Hello! Good evening to everybody. Hi, Carlos. Nasaan na sila? Robby? Simone, Relly. Hi! Hello!
Hey, Gretch.
Kumusta kayo?
Hey,
Thanks for
Gretch.
joining
Yeah.
us. We know you're very busy, but it's a very special occasion for us as well because, again, this is the first episode beyond our class requirement from Rick Olivares. Shout out to Sir Rick.
It's really nice that you're able to take it out of the class and convert it to a real podcast. Saludo ko sa inyo. And I can
Thank you,
feel
thank
na
you.
being all of us being athletes, I know this is gonna be a show full of passion for the sport.
Oh, thank you so much, Gretchen. You know, those kind words indeed really warmed my heart, and it actually makes me really motivated to put up a show today. All right, Gretchen. So I've seen your social media posts, and it's evident that, in general, you're an extremely vocal and outgoing person. Like, you express some thoughts about the pandemic, you've been intrigued about sporting events, you've interacted with people both offline and online. So I was wondering, what else have you been doing?
Ano nga ba? Ang dami kong ginagawa ngayon. Mostly focused on my bike drive and helping out people. And it's been keeping me really busy kasi we're doing it all like distribution, and then I hired people to help me sort out the people that we're giving bikes to. So I'm dealing with the donors and dealing with the stories of the bike recipients. It's like running my own NGO, but I'm still practicing, still learning, and everything else. Tapos bukod doon, been doing stories pa rin for TV Patrol. I've been doing content for the brands that I've been endorsing, and hosting webinars and doing speeches, much like this.
You definitely have a lot of stories to tell. I mean, with your experience, without a doubt, like, of course, you've been through ABS-CBN, you've had this like women in action approach, donating a lot of bikes, a lot of responsibilities on your end. You may as well get a lot of these insights that could actually, help you in your career. So anyway, I was actually curious since, I always see you in ABS-CBN, being involved in events. I was wondering, how did you end up in your current profession?
Paano nga ba? Alam niyo naman, nagaling ako sa volleyball world. I'm a volleyball player, and I played the sport for about 12 years. And during my collegiate years, the last 2 years, we were able to reach the finals. And Ateneo kasi was parang bottom dweller kami. So, nung batch namin, there was a programming of everything, bagong coach, bagong players. And then we made it to the finals in our last 2 years. We didn't win against LaSalle, pero that rivalry really sparked the popularity of the sport. We were the first ones to play in Araneta, first ones to play in the Mall of Asia Arena. And grabe yung experience talaga. Pumutok yung volleyball. And kung dati, masay nanonood, parang nag-open din siya sa AB market. Kasi nga, Ateneo LaSalle yun eh. Tapos, nung nag-graduate ako, nagkaroon ako ng offers to do a show with Balls Channel and ABS-CBN. Ito yung game day weekend. So, ang trabaho lang naman doon is to go around and play sports and discover different kinds of sports. So, sabi ko, I was supposed to go for Nestle, di ba? Sabi ko ni Robby, di ba? But
Buti na lang.
I had to postpone that. Sabi ko, subukan ko muna mag-media. Sabi rin ng parents ko, Subukan mo muna dyan kasi minsan lang naman yan. You can always go corporate. So, I tried it for a year. And then, bilang ako ay isang athlete, sobrang competitive, sabi ko, if I'm gonna do something, I might as well do it well. So, I became so determined in improving myself as a host, not just in a show, but also for events, doing speeches, that sabi ko, okay, sige, I'll try this for another year. And then I'll try this for 2 years. Kung wala nangyari sa akin, alis na ako, balik na ako to government work or corporate. And then nagtuloy-tuloy na kasi nag-apply na ako for the news department.
All right, Gretchen, based from your story that I've heard, like you really have that passion to get better and better. Like, of course, bringing the volleyball team to the top and then letting the volleyball scene explode here in the Philippines. Then all of a sudden venturing into to industry A and then industry B. And all of a sudden I'm actually seeing your progress. Like you're actually making a lot of impact nowadays. So anyway, I'd like to know, like, why did you, or what are your reasons or your objectives in venturing into media or being like an influencer or in terms of like being a woman in action?
When I was starting out, parang hindi naman masyadong uso pa yung influencers. It was actually just a beginning that time. But what I saw was the opportunity to use my platform for a greater cause. I have a passion for public service, and I've always wanted to work with an NGO or do something to really serve. And I think that I saw that opportunity in media to touch a lot of people's lives, and also with social media itself. Sabi ko, parang, di ba, if I can make that kind of impact, and if I can grow that influence, and if I can use this, whatever volleyball gave me, then it would not have been in vain. I mean, like, sayang naman, di ba, yung nag-grow namin na following through the 5 years. So, I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm here. And now, after building that follower base and that following and that, I think also with my career, the stability, I'm now able to use it for what I intended it for, which is really public service. I do a lot of public service now with yung bike drive ko, and then I also do the news, and I do a lot of storytelling on various platforms. So bringing that all together, sabi ko, wow, I ended up where I wanted to be without, even intentionally or trying to control where I was supposed to be. I just let life drag me along, and then listening to my heart along the way led me to what I really wanted to do.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, of course, based on your story, Gretchen, that you've actually used your influence to produce like a positive community or establish like an optimistic community, just to negate the toxicity surrounding social media. And yeah, that's really the sort of responsibility that is desperately needed, especially in these times of crisis nowadays. All right, so thank you so much for those answers, Gretchen. Now, I'm not the only one with questions, as my fellow gold diggers have their own discussions with Gretchen. So, Simone, Relly, and Robbie, you know what to do. Take it away.
Hi, Gretch.
Hi, hello, Simone.
I'd like to have some of your grape juice too.
Sangria to.
So it's an honor to have you with us tonight. And, other than this being our first live episode, you are the first woman to guest in our show.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
It's an honor,
So thank you for giving us the privilege of your time and fitting us into your busy schedule.
Maraming salamat din. And it's nice to see a woman in the panel from Davao pa. And an athlete like myself, sabi mo kung magkasabay nga tayo sa Ateneo, di ba?
Yeah. I'm sure we bumped into each other a bunch of times, but the school's kind of big din eh.
Oo.
So now to begin, we'd like to dig deeper into your background in sports. So aside from playing volleyball, you played some basketball, diba, when you were younger, and you have been cycling for about 3 years now. And You can also be seen on the racetrack. You competed at the Toyota Vios Racing Festival. So talk about being a woman in action. From the court to the racetrack, sports is so embedded in your life. So how has your experience being involved in all these sports help you with what you do beyond the games and the competition?
If there's one thing that's innate in me, it's being an athlete. Like, you really cannot take that away from me. And I knew it from a very young age kasi sobrang likot ko noon, tsaka sobrang full of energy. I would like run all the time, play games. Patintero, Chinese garter, langit at lupa. During dismissal, I'd practice on free throws habang wala pang sundo. And I knew that I really wanted to be an athlete. So I actually did professional volleyball for 2 years before leaving and going full time in the media industry. But I've managed to be an athlete in terms of my lifestyle in the sports that I participate in. And I feel like being an athlete is not just limited to joining leagues, professional leagues or professional teams. If you really want to be an athlete, you can make it a lifestyle in however way you want it. So sa akin, when I left volleyball, I decided to stay in condition. As in, anytime na kailangan ako maglaro, kaya ko pa din mag-volleyball. And at the same time, I run a lot outside. I do cycling kasi na-bore na ako sa running, so kailangan ko na siya dagdagan ng something. And then yung racing, grabe yung thrill, yung adrenaline, and just being the need to be there 100% to do the sport well. I love the rush. I love the competition, the intensity, the discipline that you need to have mentally, physically. It's something that I always look for because I lived that lifestyle for 12 years. So, yun, when I wake up every single day, I feel like I'm an athlete right away. Like, that's my, hindi nga athlete lang eh. Pakiramdam ko, sundalo ako na kailangan disiplinado. Meron akong, parang I need to work out every day. I need to have, I need to accomplish something. And I feel like it's inherent also in all of us athletes, yung sense of competitiveness and wanting to be better every single day and having goals. Sanay tayo na meron tayo, you wake up for something. 'Di ba? Hindi kayo sanay na parang wala lang, ganyan. Kaya nga, I can relate to this show with gold diggers. 'Di ba? Kahit na nadala mo kasi yung lifestyle na yun to your, to whatever world that you go to. That's why I love the training of an athlete.
Yeah, super relate. Parang you can't help but, you have to scratch that itch talaga. You have to move and exercise. So, as an athlete, you have worked with different teammates and coaches with different personalities, different styles, and different perspectives. How was it like working with all of them, and what did you learn about yourself in the process of adjusting to these different individuals?
Different coaches.
Yes.
Each coach has his own style. They will have their own way of motivating you and correcting you and getting the best out of you. But you always have to know that they intend to get the best out of you, get the best out of the team. It's up to you, I guess, how you're gonna deal with each style. Meron akong mga coach na sobrang higpit, meron akong mga coach na chill-chill lang. Pero I appreciated both styles eh. Depende sa kung ano kailangan mo at that time in your life. Katulad nung college, sobrang strict ni Coach Roger sa amin. And maganda naman yung training niya. Pero I also kind of missed yung parang having fun lang. And I got that when I joined Petron naman. Kasi mas chill yung coach namin doon. Na strict na chill. Pero iba lang yung style. So, tapos nung high school naman ako, ganun din. Sobrang strict. Parang matibay. Pagka nag-miss ka ng training, mortal sin. And I think these coaches, if you're lucky enough to have good coaches, they will really take you far. A lot of your development is dependent on the teachers, the mentors, the coaches that you have. So if you are guided by somebody, it will give you a huge advantage already. But when you're young, kasi you don't know the difference between a coach and another, di ba? When you're old na, that's when you already identify or you can choose who you want to mentor you. But it's crucial in your growth in whatever field that you're in.
So was it in retrospect that you saw them as mentors, or even while you were working with them already? Because sometimes, like when you're still young pa, you don't usually see your coaches as mentors, diba? It's only later on when you're more conscious about it. So like, yeah, was that the same way for you?
Para sa akin, I saw my coaches as parents. Um, they were mother and father figures to me. I was very close to them, and I mean, in my media career, I realized that the way I do things, the way I act when it comes to my job is I always look for people who can criticize my performance, give me constructive criticism. Kasi I need to know what I need to work on to get better. I mean, I can't just let the day pass without knowing feedback or getting feedback from people. And sa ABS-CBN, sa media work, na-realize ko, unique pala yon. Hindi pala lahat ng tao naghahanap ng feedback. Kasi yung iba, parang sensitive sila sa feedback, hindi sila sanay. Like when you criticize them, parang napanghihinaan sila ng loob. Pero ako, I intentionally ask people or my boss or my mom, how was I? Kamusta ako? Kamusta ako doon? What can I improve pa? And yung attitude na yon, I got that from being an athlete. Na nasanay ako, there's always somebody there who can tell me or give me a clear description of how I was. And it's a good thing because it makes your growth faster when you're intentional about it. So, siguro yun, very receptive ako to coaches.
Related to that, yung feedback, as athletes, that we have to get used to that, the criticism, the feedback that they give us. Whether it's, sometimes, I mean, different coaches have different styles of giving us feedback, right? So, I mean, you have been doing a lot even beyond sports with your career in showbiz, using your voice to share positive stories and finding ways to give back to the community, like through your work with Woman in Action. And I'm sure your schedule is pretty packed. So given all these, can you share with us what makes you say yes to doing all these things? And what's the thought process that goes into being open to doing all these different activities?
Ano nga ba? Well, kasi, talagang, marami akong energy. So, I have to expend it. And I'm not content, like, leaving a day without being able to accomplish anything. I don't like wasting time because for me, time is so precious that, we can do so much with it. And I don't, like, when I look at time, I always see it through the year. Parang, for example, in 2020, so many people have written it off. But for me, I don't want to look back at my 2020 and tell myself nothing happened to me. Para sa akin, ang sayang ng panahon. Siguro dahil na rin sa nature ng work ko na if you take things for granted, they can be taken away from you anytime. It's never guaranteed. So you have to like keep on hustling, keep on working, keep on taking advantage of what you have. And I guess, siguro, part na rin pagiging athlete. I mean, di ba tayo, playing years natin limited lang.
Mm-hmm.
Sayang, kailangan mag-grow ako ngayon. Yung sense of time siguro dahil sobra ko siyang inaalagaan, what I do with my time. And, yun, ang dami ko rin kasing goals, ang dami kong gustong mangyari sa buhay ko. Na, but it's not, it's not pressuring me naman na I have to do it now, I have to do it. Hindi ako ganun eh. Parang one day at a time ako eh. Like, I just need to accomplish something today. I need to accomplish something tomorrow. Anong gagawin ko? Lalo na sa pandemic, kasi kung yung schedule ko noon, siguro mga 10 activities in a day ako. Siguro ngayon mga 2-3 na lang o isa. Minsan nga isa lang. So, just adjusting also to the pressures around you, the stresses, and not taking it too hard on yourself when you don't accomplish a lot. But for me, one step forward is one step forward. So yun lang yung goal ko every single day. Just to get something done and to make good use of my life.
We're definitely gonna dig deeper into that later. But like, you mentioned before the importance of being open to change, and that's related to how ang daming, so much has happened even with the start of the pandemic, diba? Ang daming changes, and even you with the different things that you're doing, you do different sports and you're in different professions as well. What's your mindset? Like, what's your mentality? What's driving you to being open to change?
Ano nga ba? Because I thought at a young age that I knew the world already. Parang akala natin yung mga plinano natin nung bata tayo, that's how life will turn out. But life proved me wrong eh. It taught me that the best things that can happen to you will not necessarily have been planned or can surprise you. Like me being in the media industry, never imagined myself doing this. Never imagined myself getting popular. Never imagined myself having a big platform. As in, parang conservative ako, mahiyain, hindi ako nagsasalita masyado noon. Tapos I would look at the hosts and I would see them. Sabi ko, parang hindi ko kaya yan. Tapos kinain ko lahat ng sinabi ko and then I'm here and it's life-changing. So, when I went out of volleyball and I got into the media industry, one of the things that I appreciated was starting off with a blank slate and not knowing how life was gonna turn out. Kung sa ibang tao nakakatakot yun, para sa akin, napaka-exciting. Kasi ibig sabihin, ang dami kong i-explore sa mundo. Ang dami pang pwedeng mangyaring possibility. And I just had to be open to change and be open to being changed by the world. And to being proven wrong. Because and then minsan when you're young, diba, you have so many beliefs. And when I got out of my bubble, diba, yung the world that I revolved in, I realized that there were many things that I didn't know about, and I gave the world a chance to prove me wrong. All of my beliefs wrong. So, ayun, nagbago ako, paniniwala ko, and hindi lang paniniwala ko, no, pati yung sarili ko, when I immersed in media and took on all sorts of roles, from being a host to being an anchor to being an endorser, a model, to being an advocate, to, lahat talaga, sinubukan ko, and hinayaan ko lang hubugin ako ng mga experience na yon bago ako mag-form ng beliefs ko. Kasi iba yung nababasa natin sa na-experience natin. And kaya ako nag-immerse fully, even with talking to people, even with getting to know stories. Yun, tapos ma-realize mo na ang dami pang hindi alam. And pwede ka pa palang magbago at pwede kang mag-grow. And napaka-exciting nun.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And it's not easy to be open to change, to deal with all these things coming at you, things that you're newly exposed to. And Robbie's gonna ask you more about it, about being brave when it comes to accepting all these new opportunities into your life. So I'm gonna hand you over to Robbie. Robbie, are you there?
Yes, thanks, Sim. So actually, Gretch, I really like what you said about being open to change, and your transition from like a shy conservative athlete to now the media personality that you are right now, right? So parang ang dating sa akin, napaka-adaptable mo na tao. Your life transitions seem to be very easy. So kwentuhan mo naman kami about your transitions from your volleyball playing days back in Ateneo to your eventual hosting career with ABS-CBN, which appeared to be somewhat seamless, or parang you made it seem really easy. Can you tell us about how your journey went so far and how you managed to make it all work? So paano mo ginawa yun?
I realized that to change, the number one ingredient that you have to have is humility. Masakit magbago di ba? Kasi you change yourself, you change your mind, you change your heart, you change the way you look at things. Marami sa atin hindi willing magbago kasi we're so set in our ways. Pero sa akin, napaka-refreshing nun kasi when you don't hold on so tightly to something and you allow yourself to be wrong, life can surprise you talaga Life can surprise you and offer you different answers from what you thought you knew. And that's how growth naman happens That's how we grow as people and how we bloom. One thing was certain for me when I graduated from Ateneo. I knew that this version of me was not the end, was not my end result. Like, I didn't want to be this. I wanted to be more than this. I wanted to be confident of myself. I wanted to see a Gretchen that I was proud of. I wanted to, alam mo yun, alam ko marami pa akong potential to explore, and I believe that I could do it if only I was given a chance. And I think sports showed me that change is possible, that you can be, you can like suck at something, and then if you work on yourself and your skill set, then you can be good at it. So yun yung mindset ko coming into hosting, coming into the media industry, na kahit wala akong alam sa pag-host at kahit nanggaling ako sa napaka-conservative, seryosong background, kaya ko siya matutunan kung gugustuhin ko, pero kailangan kong magbago. And kailangan gustuhin ko yun. I think it starts with that. If you want to change yourself, if you see yourself in the future, like 10 years from now, do I want this person to become? And if you work on that, work on yourself, and work towards that, to becoming more of yourself, hindi to be different from who you are, but it's really being able to embrace who you can become. It's really possible, but you have to be willing to get out there and fail, kasama yung failure doon, kasi you will not get it right all of the time. Like, marami akong mga hosting na sobrang awkward. Marami akong mga, as in parang when I watch myself, it's painful to the eyes. Kasi yun nga tanggap ko sa sarili ko rookie pa lang ako Hindi pa ako magaling dito So kailangan ko talagang matuto pa. And it will take time. So yun, I think just humility and knowing what you want and being open to life.
Right. So I like what you said. No. So what I heard from you is like it's really the mindset and the approach that you had, the humility you had, and working toward the vision of yourself that you had. Right. So let's talk about those learning moments. Right. Because you mentioned in previous guestings in other podcasts such as this that you approached your career just like a sport. So you made sure to practice also. So tell us about that bit of developing your talents in the media industry.
Meron kasi ako mentor sa TV Patrol. And bago ko sumalang sa Star Patrol, actually nag-audition ako doon, pero nung sinalang niya ako, ang dami niyang pinagawa sa akin. Sabi niya, magbasa ka ng tabloid. Manood ka ng Tagalog. Alamin mo yung mga chismis balita. Kailangan alam mo yung sinasabi mo, yung kinakwento mo. Hindi ka pwedeng newsreader lang. Kailangan alam mo yung sinasabi mo at ginagawa mo. Tapos, mag-practice ka, sabi ng mga ibang host, look at yourself in the mirror, try talking, try watching yourself every time you have a stint. So I did all of that. Even yung voice modulation ko for my reports, I would listen to every single report and I would identify notes that I didn't like, and then I would correct it in the next reports to come. So ano yun, process talaga yun. You have to be patient with yourself. But you have to do the work. You have to, like, I read up also, informed myself. When I got into the morning show, I make sure that I would read the news for the day or what happened during the night. I informed myself on hot topics, hot issues. I got to know the who's who of the industry. Kasi ang dami kong hosting, hindi lang sa news. Meron din ako entertainment. So, pagka sinalang naman ako sa, like, for example, ABS-CBN Ball, talagang binasa ko yung mga buhay ng mga tao bago ko sila interviewin para maganda yung mga tanong ko. Kumbaga, as an athlete, you have to prepare everything na. Para pagdating mo dun sa moment na yon, you only have to think about pulling it off and not knowing your stuff. Because you have to get confidence from knowing what you're doing. So I think yun, just a lot of preparation talaga. Akala ng mga tao, salang ka lang na salang. But the best ones, they do a lot of preparation. And they do it on the daily. They do it even when they're not told. And they make it their lifestyle.
I like that. No, so practically, parang what you're saying is practice makes permanent, right? So
Oo naman.
make it better for yourself, right? So what I heard from you was you said basically just do the work, right? So I also believe in that the confidence really comes from being a subject matter expert. So you really have to dig in and try to research as much as possible so you can talk accurately about what you speak, right? So thanks for that. So my next question to you is, you've accomplished so much in your career to a point that you've already used your platform to speak out publicly on very social issues. So nandyan yung advocacy mo on women empowerment, for social change, and pati na rin for press freedom and anti-corruption. And dahil doon, naging implicated ka minsan in a matrix of a political figure.
Yeah.
So I'm sure hindi lang yan yung mga challenges na experience mo in your career so far. So what's been your most difficult experience so far, and what has this taught you?
Ano nga ba? Siguro being judged right away without being talked to or without getting my side. I've been on that end. Sobrang painful because when people see you, they think a lot of things, and they assume a lot of things without even hearing from you. But I also understand that it's part of my job, it's part of the nature of my work. And my duty is to communicate as clearly as possible and to clear those blurry lines. Siguro yun yung pero hindi natin maiwasan, pero it's also one of the reasons why I'm very careful now with what I say. I don't just blurt out things. I research first before saying something. Because may weight kasi yung bawat salita mo sa labas and everything else you have to understand that people will judge you with whatever you do, and you have to be ready for the consequences of what you say and what you do. So yun lang siguro. Ako proud ako sa sarili ko kasi yung mga sinabi ko na mga statement ko, kaya ko talaga siyang panindigan. Kahit nai-implicate nila ako sa kahit anong scandal, matrix, or kung ano man yun maisip nila, I can stand up for that. I can stand up for what I say. And I think that's one of the reasons why people also believe in me. Sabi nga nila, diba, when everybody likes you, there must be something wrong. So, yung bashers, yung doubters, yung people who don't like me and have judged me, it means I'm making waves. And para sa akin, mahalaga yun. Even with this bike drive, and when I post about it, people think na, ay, gusto lang magpasikat yan. Pero kasi, alam mo ba, yung mga post ko ng bike drives brought so much more donations to the drive. So I get to help a lot more people. So sabi ko, if this is what it means to be a leader, to be responsible with my influence, I'm willing to take the hit. You can bash me all you want. Basta marami ako natutulungan. I can sleep with that.
I like what you said, no? So parang basically, what you're saying is, na-affect ka din, no? Naapektado ka rin ng mga...
Oh, humans naman kami. Masakit din. Pero siguro nasanay na ako dahil kami mga athletes, lagi kami binabash. Bawat mali mo lang, bash, bash, bash.
So quick question. So paano mo na-overcome yung fear?
Fear of criticism.
Yes.
You know, ito, funny kasi dati, nung college, hindi ako nagbabasa ng mga comments about me. So, kasi sabi, wag na daw magbasa, ganyan, kasi nga, hindi naman kailangan. Pero nung nag-graduate na ako, I started reading. Sabi ko, parang mas okay pala ito nagbabasa ako. So, I read those comments, I read everything. Kasi, my mind comes up with worse things. Like, I imagine what they're saying about me. And sometimes we do that to ourselves, right? We imagine the worst things and we're harsher to ourselves than other people are. So what I do, I read the comments and then I know kung ano yung totoo, ano yung hindi. Parang I try to be very objective about everything. For example, pag may nagsabi, pangit mo kasi ganyan. Tapos titignan ko, sino nagsabi? Okay, kasi siguro better lang to sa ganyan. O kaya pag may nagsabi na hindi maganda yung hosting mo, I look at why. And then I improve on that. So, yung comments naman, it's not necessarily bad, di ba? We have to be open to feedback then. Pero you have to know where they're coming from and what their intention is. So, yun, facing it head on, facing the fear head on.
Nice. I like that. And what I heard from what you said is, basically, it's really appreciating the feedback, right? So it's a post-evaluation of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of like devil's advocate yourself, Ren, to challenge yourself to be better, more objective, like you said, right? So I appreciate that. Next question, related to what you mentioned on your biking drive, your donate a bike drive. You've certainly made the most of this pandemic, right? So napag-usapan natin kung ano yung naging mindset mo nitong past 6 months. Unfortunately, so like many people out there na walang trabaho during this time, pero meron din namang opportunities na sumulpot. So what can you tell our audience who are considering or going through their own transitions in their careers or in their lives right now? Ano yung maipapayo mo sa kanila? What can you tell them, especially since we're facing unprecedented times?
Well, ito yung nire-reflect ko kanina. Sabi ko, in this 2020 has been like a storm. And in a storm, you're able to know what is most important to you. You cling on to the things that are valuable to you. Di ba? Pagka binabaha ka na, ano ba yung mga una mong kukunin, ano ba yun? Yung mga una mong isi-save, ano yun? So itong 2020, it also cleared the way for me to be able to identify what's important to me and what's valuable to me. And it removed so much of the noise. For those who are in their transitions, siguro yun, identify ninyo in the time that we have, and all we have is time and space and quiet. Identify the things that are very important to you. For me, that's family. Second is being of service to others, using really my platform to help other people and to live a life of purpose. And the third, actually, number one pala is really my faith. So I've been praying a lot, and I've been really reading the Bible and everything else. Pero yun, siguro ang payo ko lang is use this time to clear your head and to figure out where life is leading you, where God is leading you, and you'd know that with your desires, with what it is that excites you, what makes you come alive, what alam mo yon, kahit na pagtawanan pa ng ibang tao, pero kung para sa'yo mahalaga yon, they can really say nothing about it. So, baka yun yung calling mo. It's the perfect time to switch careers. It's the perfect time to reassess your life. Everybody is on a level ground now. But also know that you're not alone. If you need help from other people to start a new life, to build something, always know that you have other people with you who can support you in that. Yung bike drive ko, nagsimula lang naman yon sa 30 bikes na nagulat ako nung lakas ako ng loob na nagsabi na 50 bikes, naging pa 1,000 na ako ngayon. Grabe, di ba? Parang sometimes we're scared to take that first step. But sometimes all we need to do is take the first step. And God will take care of the rest. And yun, yung courage lang to start is so important. So kung ano naman yung naisip nyo idea for you guys, just start it. Don't be afraid to fail. Wala naman eh. You learn more about yourself more than anything. And I think that's a win. Diba?
I love that. So parang what I gather from what you just said is really the optimism, no? So making the most of the moment, like what you said. So we might be in a pandemic, but it's really, we can use the time to really, improve and up our game. And also touching base on what you also stand for. So you mentioned about taking that first step, or basically taking action, which is what you stand for. So I think it's the proper transition to over to Relly, because he talks more about your brand as a woman in action. Relly?
Okay. Hi, Gretch.
Hi. Hello.
Really enjoying the conversation right now. There's a lot of positive vibes going on. And, I like that you really take the extra mile in trying to improve yourself, in whatever things that you do now. Now, I think I want to be able to discuss just a few, if you don't mind. No? You're saying that the whole 2020 pandemic has really affected a lot, including yourself. And I think one of the things that had a major hit was with your career, with ABS, no, and many others as well, right? Or left unemployed. I have friends, the directors or the marketing guys I deal with, they're all unemployed there. But despite this setback, you still continue to remain positive, and it shows, right? And I can't figure it out. Parang, okay, shouldn't be she be like, waking up in the morning and like saying, okay, what am I going to do with my life? But no, you really have your plan. You're set for yourself. So for our viewers, and I guess for us as well, right? I mean, Robbie, Sim, Carlos, and Koi, we're also going through our own, what do you call this, demons and setbacks that we're experiencing. How do you stay positive? What are the mindset? If you were to talk to our viewers, what can you tell them?
Akala nga ng mga tao, wala akong pinagdadaanan eh. Kasi I always am smiling and I stay positive. Pero kung titignan mo yung mga nangyari sa buhay ko, parang there's all the reasons to not be okay, including that na yung uncertainty sa career, and the network being taken away, and so many of my friends, my coworkers losing jobs. And with this pandemic pa, with everything that's happening. Pero kasi sabi ko, meron tayong choice eh. Dalawa lang yung choice eh. It's either magpapatalo ka sa COVID or you will choose to win over it. And I choose to win every day. COVID is here. COVID, we don't know until when. Ang tanong kasi, hahayaan mo ba ng malugmok ka na lang dyan sa upuan without doing anything about your life? I choose to move forward. I choose to improve myself in whatever way I can and make the most out of what I have. I recognize that there are limitations, but there are also so many blessings. There are so many good things happening. Like, for example, my family being okay, being good and being safe, and that I still have work from time to time. And sabi ko, ito nga yung may blessings kasi ako na natanggap this year from endorsements. parang hindi ako mapakali dito sa bahay din na wala akong ginagawa eh. Na, okay, mabless ako, tapos ano na, yun na yun. Parang hindi ako masaya. So, I started the bike drive kasi I really wanted to be able to channel those blessings to other people. And I want other people who have more in life to do the same. That we shouldn't forget the disadvantaged or those who have been terribly affected by the pandemic. So, to answer your question, how do I stay positive? I choose to see the good in every day. The bad things will not do anything for me. The negative things will not make my life a good one. So, it's a choice eh. What you ingest, what you say, what you read, what you do, what you operate from, what you believe in. Other people will see all the bad things and all the things to complain about, all the unlucky things. But for me, every time you do that, you just delay your success. Yung time na dapat ginugugol mo para to work on your plans, your visions, and your dreams, and to work on where you want to go and where you want to bring yourself, nauubos dun sa kaka-complain, kaka-mukmok. Hindi ko naman sinasabi na ano, kasi iba, nahirapan talaga sila eh. And I understand, it's a mental health issue. I also went through difficult nights. I don't think that, it's all happy for me. I also went through anxiety, also went through, a lot of the tough emotions. Pero I got to the point where I was strong enough to turn away from these emotions and to filter it out. And if you are in that place of anxiety, okay lang yon. Just know that, it's a process. You work through your emotions. Then little by little, you have to want to get better. Yun kasi yun eh. You have to want to get better. But if you don't want, then you will really be stuck in the cycle that you're in.
Well, it's really something like the law of attraction, diba? Parang
Oo.
if you attract the bad or the negative stuff, then it will really happen to you.
Magko-compile yun eh.
Correct. It's just really going to till you have no control of that anymore, no? So that's very good. It's very good. I like it. I like how you put it into perspective, the human side to it, and of course, being able to to stay positive and really face it head on, diba? In your life. Now, talking about the things that you've accomplished, diba? Volleyball, motorsports, cycling, and then of course what you mentioned earlier, experiencing the All-Star, and currently you're advocacy woman in action. I see you as when you set your mind into something, it always materializes. But have you ever hit a snag with all this along the way? And if you have, how did you overcome this?
I think it's a discipline. That's why yung Woman in Action, it started off as a motto, personal motto, for me to act on whatever I wanted to happen. Kasi meron akong tagline nung bata ko. Sabi ko, dare to dream and make it happen. We shouldn't stop with dreaming. We should make it happen because we can if we do it now. So yun yung nakita ko, yung power of action and acting on what you want. Like, for example, gusto nyo kumain ng ice cream. Eh di lumabas ka, bumili ka ng ice cream. Yung iba kasi they delay eh. They wait for life to happen. They wait for things to get done. Pero ako kasi, there's so much more power in getting things done and not just waiting. And sabi ko ako, yun yung naging motto ko for myself because ano man yung maisip ko, gusto ko magkaroon ng credibility dun sa sinasabi ko na when I say something, I actually do it. So, for example, itong website ko na, kasi nga marami tayo, di ba, nag-upload tayo ng YouTube, gumagawa tayo ng website. Sa una lang, gagawin mo, pero walang follow-through. So, ako, alam ko, weakness ko yun noon. Na-identify ko. Bibitawan ko na. So, I had to identify also, ano ba talaga yung gusto kong gawin? Ano ba yung gusto kong puntahan? And what do I want to work on? So, when I set up my website, I wrote some articles. And then, itong Woman in Action ko, na vision ko, is I wanted to be able to go around the country and do content and at the same time, create impact dun sa communities na pinupuntahan ko. So now that I was able to materialize it into actual movement and helping people, and it became so big, sabi ko, wow, kahit ako nagugulat ako kasi alam mo nasa head ko lang lahat yun Tapos, when I see it, oh wow, andyan na. And doon ko na-realize na, kung ano man yung gusto mo, kaya mo din gawin. Kailangan mo lang mahanap yung concrete resources na to make it happen. For example, yung logo ng brand ko, yung branding, naghanap talaga ako ng tao to make it for me. Tapos, naghanap ako ng supplier para Pero kailangan mo ng lakas ng loob para gawin lahat yon at maniwala sa capacity mo to achieve your dreams. Kasi some people, they're afraid They're afraid of getting to that point where their dreams are being realized. Di ba sabi niya ni Coach Carter, ano yun? It's not that we are inadequate, but we are parang afraid of our own light. Parang gano'n, nakalimutan ko na yung quote basta favorite ko yun Yung akala natin, parang nagda-doubt tayo masyado, and then we remain comfortable in that doubt and uncertainty. Natakot tayo na maging masaya, takot tayo na maging successful, pero kung kaya mo, bakit hindi? You just have to take steps into making those things happen. Yun.
Right. That's right. I like that. Really taking action, and you're not just sitting on your ideas. If you feel
Yes.
it's a good idea, you just get up and like what I always say also, you create the possibility.
Even if it's not perfect, kasi some people wait till the perfect moment, perfect idea. The thing is to get it started lang, and then you just learn along the way. You twist, and then kung ano yung mali, configure natin. Don't wait for the perfect kasi hindi dadating yun.
That's right. So now with your, let's say, donate a bike initiative, I'd like to ask, how many bikes have you donated so far?
I have, I'm almost reaching 1,000.
Okay.
So yun na yung big target ko before the end of the year. So from 50 bikes, it already grew. We have already distributed a total of 385 by this weekend. 3 weekends na lang, dadating na kami sa 500. Tapos the rest of that will be 100 per weekend. So I'm just really in shock also with the generosity of donors that have poured in the donations. And this is not all me. This is all from parang sobrang liit lang nung dinonate ko, but I set up the movement, pero everything else really poured in from donation. So ang dami talagang gustong tumulong ngayon. It's just getting everything together.
And that's good because you created that spark, because even for us, we're ready to donate as well. Just so let you know, Robbie, you can attest to that.
Oh, salamat.
Okay, so my last question, Gretch. I mean, again, in this pandemic, we get to re-examine our lives and our career paths. Some paths have been affected, right? And we've been hearing this word. It's called pivot. Pivoting into doing something else. So if you were to embrace this thought and thought of something new to do, what would that be?
Something again?
Something new. If you were to shift a career or shift something that you'd want, because given that it's not possible for us right now, what would you do?
I would probably do a lot more storytelling in the future, and probably level up on my journalistic skills. I was headed there anyway before the pandemic, so right now I'm educating myself, studying, reading a lot more, and developing my skills also. I'm in the process of discerning where I'm supposed to be next, because yun nga, malabo nga yung pupuntahan natin, pero I'm taking this as an opportunity to do everything that I wasn't able to do with the lack of time. Pero ngayon meron na. Kaya that's probably my next step, really to go more into journalism, but create impact along the way.
Great. So I wish you all the luck in that. So
Salamat.
before I end, I'll turn you over now to Carlos with a few more questions.
All right. Yeah, of course. Gretchen, one of the members of the audience His name is Coach Kane Joaquin. He wants to know how do you, or any tips or any advice for people who'd like to start a hosting career?
Ano nga ba? Practice. Practice lang. Read a lot. Words matter, so you have to read a lot. And you have to listen. That's the number one key. To be able to say or to lead your interviewee well, or to be able to host an event well, you have to be a good listener. Akala nila talk, talk, talk lang. Hindi. Kailangan maintindihan mo yung sinasabi sa'yo, and to be able to digest that and to say something about it. And it takes a lot of training.
So, given your overall experience, given your overall story, tell me or tell the audience, what are the most important tips that you could offer to our viewers?
I can give our viewers 3 tips that they can take away from this podcast. And the first would be to have a growth mindset over a fixed mindset. So as you've seen and as I've shared with you during this episode, my life and the opportunities that came along the way really changed me a lot as a person. So if you're willing to grow into the best version of yourself, you have to be open to change. Sometimes we think we already know ourselves well and know the world well, but if you allow life to surprise you, you'd be shocked at what it can teach you. The best way, I think, to go through life is with an open mind. And with that open mind, you'd feel less threatened also. Kasi alam mo na you can be wrong at any point in time. So yung humility, to embrace a growth mindset, doon mo makikita na it's not the end for anybody who's listening right now. You can be better, you can do better, you can be in a better place. It's not the end all be all of your life, like this moment. My second tip is your best life is on the other side of your fear. Kung ano man yung mga fears ninyo, ang suggestion ko sa inyo, hindi mawawala kasi yung takot eh. Yung takot will always be there, but you can choose what you do with it. You can choose to be frozen by it and to be held back by it, or you can choose to stare at it in the eye and determine what you love more than that fear. So that's what I think about. For example, if I'm scared of jumping off a cliff, and if I have to do it for a show, I always think that I love my job more than this fear of jumping off a cliff. Kailangan makahanap ka ng value that's greater than your fear to conquer it, but the fear will always be there. And at the end of the day, when you conquer your fear, you will realize that it was so small lang pala. It was not what you thought it to be. That it was just a stumbling block. And you can make it past that fear. And my third tip for you guys is to take it one step at a time. It's okay not to have it all figured out. Pag hindi nyo pa alam kung saan pupunta yung buhay ninyo, wala pa kayong plano, wala kayong idea kung anong gusto ninyo, okay lang. Just take it one day, one step at a time. You'll figure things out. And I think it's the best way, one of the best ways to go through life. You may have a vision, but not the steps figured out. It's fine, perfectly fine. Just stay true to your values. Stay true to your principles. But in terms of like the process of getting there to where you want to be, or who you see yourself as, try to be a little bit more flexible, and you'll realize that there's so much good around you that you can work on. One step at a time lang. Lalo na sa pandemic, di pa natin alam kung kailan to mag-end. Di natin alam kung gaano katagal. Pero we made it through the past 7 months and we're still here. Look, you guys have a podcast. I have a bike drive. We were able to make it because we took it one day, one step at a time. So don't allow the situation to overwhelm you. And if you're not yet at that point where you want to be, okay lang. Be patient with yourself. Darating ka rin dun.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the most important life learnings from Gretchen Ho, that growth mindset. Be open to change, knowing that the best life could be found on the other side of your fear, and take things one step at a time. I mean, there's no harm if you haven't figured everything out. All right, so before we proceed to our next segment, I'd like to do some shout outs to our viewers watching. Shout out to Marco Pajo and Craig James all the way from the UK. God save the Queen. It's already nighttime here in the Philippines. It's going to be a lovely afternoon, especially now that you've witnessed this episode with Gretchen Ho. All right. And there's actually some more additional shout outs as well. All right. Interesting. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much for these viewers as well. Jason Alcarde, Coach Kane Joaquin, and Tom Fawn. I really appreciate and I really salute that you've all ventured into this show and that you've already, accumulated a lot of knowledge. And there you can see the magic trick already, the falling of my patch there. Yeah, that's just a special effect out of nowhere. All right. Now let's go to our very, one of the most exciting, one of the most entertaining segments, which is none other than Crunch Time. So, what are the rules of Crunch Time? Well, it's very simple. We're going to be asking some minimalist questions, and Gretchen is going to respond with some simple answers as well. No need for explanations unless if we had asked so. All right, Gretchen, are you ready for Crunch Time?
Ready?
All right, let's begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and first we're going to go for some sports-related questions first. Basketball or volleyball?
Volleyball.
Volleyball. Next, the NBA or the UAAP?
UAAP.
Okay, next, motorsports or biking?
Motorsports.
All right, okay, now you've already actually thought really well on that. All right, next, biking or volleyball?
Volleyball, siyempre.
Volleyball, still loyal to the sport. All right, next, driving manual or driving an automatic?
Manual.
Manual, okay,
Kaya
there.
akong mahilig mag-racing,
Going for the more difficult approach. I like that. Next, ab workout or bicep curls?
Bicep curls.
Okay, that's really a much more longer thought processing. All right, next, Milo or Gatorade?
Milo. Nandiyan si Robbie eh.
All right, okay, there's that sort of factor as well. Next, in terms of volleyball, would you prefer doing an acrobatic save or a thunderous spike?
Under a spike, of course.
Wow, definitely the highlight reel without a doubt. Next, uphill cycling or downhill cycling?
Uphill. Galing
Oh,
ako dyan sa ahon.
all right. Definitely, the challenge is worth accepting. All right, next, Steph Curry or Luka Doncic?
Luka Doncic! Ngayon. Kasi injured si Steph eh. Okay na ba siya?
Yeah, not really. I mean, yeah, same here. I like Luka Doncic as well. I'm a fan. All right, next, LeBron James or Jimmy Butler?
LeBron James. I mean, I have so much respect for the guy. We bash him a lot, but I think he deserves all the accolades and this championship.
Okay. Follow-up question. Would you want him to win Finals MVP?
Baka hindi, iba na.
All right. Okay. Next, playing volleyball on the wooden court or playing on sand?
Playing on sand. It's
Oh.
fun.
Oh,
One
wow.
of the things that I never thought I'd like. Beach
yeah.
volleyball.
Interesting. All right. Okay. Next, let's go to some non-sports related questions. Okay. First, hosting or news reporting?
Hosting.
Hosting. All right. Next, Boy Abunda or Oprah Winfrey?
Oprah, syempre, babae. Idol ko yun eh.
All right. Okay.
Idol ko rin si Tito Boy, pero iba si Oprah.
All right. Okay. Next, Wonder Woman or Mulan?
Oh, tough one. Based on the movie, I'll choose Wonder Woman.
All right. Okay. Wonder Woman. Next.
Better produced.
All right. Okay. Next, fiction or non-fiction?
Non-fiction.
Non-fiction. All right. Next, Junk food or pastries?
Pastries.
Pastries. Okay, next. Last question. Shoutouts or fan signs?
Shout outs so they will not change the content of the fan sign.
All right. Okay, there you go. All right. So there you have it. Crunch time is now on a wrap. And of course,
Yay!
congratulations, Gretchen, for answering those questions. All right. So before you wrap things up, we'd like to offer our final messages. And I believe Simone, Relly, and Robbie would have something to tell to our audience what we have in store in the next coming weeks. So, ladies and gentlemen, Simone, Relly, and Robbie, take it away.
So, guys, thank you again for joining us. Gretchen, thank you for joining us tonight. Our first live webcast, and it's a huge success, right? And so, guys, please catch us again next Saturday as we have Ada Milby on the 17th, and of course, looking at the next 3 weeks, we have Noli Ayo on the 24th and Heidelin Diaz on the 31st. So this is something you wouldn't want to miss. So again, thank you guys, thank you Gretchen, and we'll see you guys again soon. Peace.
Thank you guys. Keep it up. And keep being the gold diggers that you are.
Woo!
Simone?
Oh, thanks again also, Gretchen, for joining us tonight. And thanks for joining us, teammates. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. We'd like to thank Coach Koy Canarias, who has made this live episode possible, working with us on the back end. And check out his podcast, Hoops, where he also digs deep into stories of different sports people in the Philippines. And hey to all our viewers, listeners, our friends from the Mindanao Peace Games. Maayong adlaw ug maayong gabi sa inyo. And so, teammates, we hope you could share with us on Facebook your thoughts and what you learned from this episode and tag the Gold Diggers PH. Or you could simply share our posts or comment on our video uploads on Facebook and YouTube. And we'd love to hear from you guys, so please don't hesitate to message us on our Facebook page or leave a comment on our posts. Robbie?
Thanks, Sim. So as mentioned previously, before Gretchen gives her final message, as mentioned previously, we have another passion project called Pitch and PH. So Gretch, this is the project that we've been doing, individually by ourselves since April. But now we're trying to launch it more formally this October. So this project aims to help out people in the sports community who were affected by the pandemic. And we're very happy to announce that we're committing as the first recipient of the initiative will be the Donate a Bike, Save a Job advocacy.
Yay!
So Pitch and PH is donating 10 bikes to your cause.
Wow!
So we hope you have even more success in this initiative. So this is from 4 athletes or 5 athletes to another athlete to really help out what you're doing. And we're so proud of you. We hope we congratulate you with this initiative, and we hope the best of luck in other initiatives that you also plan moving forward. So with that, Gretch, final message?
Final message, just don't forget to have fun. I mean, at home. I mean, we're all hardworking and we're all gold diggers, but at the end of the day, we all just want to be happy, diba, with our lives and to make good use of our lives. So don't forget to find the fun in what you do, find the joy, find the magic. Don't forget that ever.
All right. Thank you so much, Gretchen, for those final messages. And before we end, there's some additional shout-outs that I'd like to mention. Shout-out from Maria Antonia, all the way from Qatar. Shout-out to Ivan Manuel, saying, Volleyball malakas. He, he, he. All right. Next, Gang Kapati says hello, and he'd like to say good job to the entire team. Oh my God, thank you so much, Gang Kapati. And there you have it. Of course, unfortunately, we have to end this session. But don't worry, we'll come next week with some kick-ass episodes with Ada Milby and of course with Noli Ayo and Heidelin Diaz. Once again, my name is Carlos Pineda, and this is Gold Diggers. Remember to dream, dig in, and win. See you next time on our next episode.